Hello, my name is Lenka from Lenka is Puzzling, and if you've been watching some of my videos, you would probably know that I have a few cats, 4 to be exact. And I think it is fun to tell you more about why I have 4 cats, how I have 4 cats, and a little bit more about them. So let's talk about it. This is going to be another non-puzzling, just talking to the camera video, and it's going to be only about my 4 cats and how I ended up in this situation. So I was thinking how I want to do this, if like by age or by how long I have the cats, and I decided on the second one. So I will actually start with the youngest cat we have, because that was my one cat that I got. So I always loved cats as a little girl, you know, I always wanted cats. When I was really tiny, me and my sister wanted either a puppy or a kitten. My parents always said no, so we instead ended up with I think when they are only on land, it's Turtis, right? Turtis? Turtle, but on land. Just like the little one, you know, that you gotta have at home. So we had that, and then we moved to rodents. So I had some mice, some gerbils, I think is the name for the little ones. All kinds of different things, up until I had a few rats, which were amazing pets. If you want like a little pet that it doesn't live too long, for maybe like your kids, rats are amazing. They are so smart. They are very clean despite their, you know, reputation. And you can train them so that they come when you call their name and stuff like that. It's amazing. So yeah, highly recommend rats. And then when I was leaving for university, my sister is older, so she was already gone. When I was leaving for university and I would be home only like on weekends and during the summer holiday, my mother decided to get a dog. So when me and my sister were already over it for years, she decided that she didn't want to be home alone just with my father and taking care of no one. So she got a dog. It was a beagle. Then she got a German Shepherd and Dutch Shepherd, Holland Shepherd, I don't know, a mix. And both of those dogs are now gone, and now she has another beagle. So that's like what I grew up with. But this whole time I wanted a cat. I always loved cats, and when we went to my grandma, she would always have 1 or 2 cats just running around the house, because they would have like cats that were outside cats but could come inside sometimes, things like that. They used to always have kittens, of course, because they were not the kind of people who would actually neuter their cats, which I do not agree with now that I am grown and I have my own thoughts on things. But when I was small, I was happy to see kittens, of course. But I always loved when they had the cats inside and I could play with them and pet them and stuff like that. So when I grew up, I wanted a cat. But for the longest time, I didn't think I was making enough money to be able to be responsible for a cat, because cats can cost a lot in like vet bills and food and stuff like that if you want to give them like the best care, which is what I want to do. Some people aren't that bothered and they will just get like cheap brand foods, and if the cat is sick, sometimes some people might be just like, oh, it will, you know, heal on its own or something. But I am the kind of person who will always just be super like hysterical when anything is wrong with their pet and just rush them to the vet and, you know, just want to deal with it right away instead of waiting for, oh, it will just sort itself out. So I spoil my animals. Ever since I had the gerbils, I've always spoiled my animals. So I was being very, very much like a wise person, and I was like, well, I am living on my own. I am the only responsible person around here for my bills. And I do not feel like I am making enough money and my life is stable enough to have a pet. So I actually was holding off on having a pet for the majority of my adult life when I was living on my own. But then I had one boyfriend, and he had a Sphynx cat, the hairless one. And she was... I didn't see her a lot because we were usually at my place because he had roommates. So when I saw her a few times, she wasn't very friendly to me, and hairless cats are very like different to what I was used to. Like, it was so strange to pet her. She was like, it was skin. You're not used to doing that with like a cat. But she was fine, you know, it wasn't like any like super love or anything. And as I said, I didn't see her a lot because I was never at his place. But then I broke up with him. I had another boyfriend, and he had a British short hair, I think is the name in English. It's the kind of bluish gray cat. And that cat was a boy cat, and he was amazing. He was so sweet, so cuddly. Ever since I first went to his place, we were just like, yeah. And then actually while we were dating, it was only a few months, but while we were dating, he went for a trip for like a week. So he asked me if I would be willing, since I love the cat so much, to take care of him. So I took the cat to my place, and I had him for a week. And that was like, yes, I know what was missing from my life, and it was definitely having a cat in my apartment. So when he came back, I of course gave his cat back, and then while we were still together, we went to pick up a kitten for him, and it was a ragdoll kitten. And she was so cute. It was so fun, like getting them to know each other and stuff like that. And then he broke up with me. So that ended very abruptly for me, and I was not ready for that. But after a few weeks of being really sad about the breakup, I realized that I was actually missing the cats more than him. And I was like, well, you are an adult. You are now actually making good enough money. You can actually get a cat. So I asked my landlady, because I was renting, I'm always renting, if it was okay to get a cat for this apartment, because some landlords do not allow that. They shouldn't be able to, but you know. So I asked her, and she was like, yeah, whatever. So I got a ragdoll kitten. And I went into like a Facebook group for ragdoll breeders, you know, the official ones that have all of the papers and everything. And I asked, hey, is there any breeders around like Prague, because this is where I'm living and I wouldn't want to drag kitten across the whole country, especially since I do not drive, so it would have to be like public transport. And some people contacted me, and then there was one who is like a little bit outside of Prague, but she said that she does go to Prague once a week. So if we agreed on getting the kitten from her, she would actually be able to bring it in a car to me, so that I wouldn't have to take it on like 4 different buses to get home. And that was amazing. So I went to, we like contacted each other on Facebook, we talked, and I wanted like one of the really traditional colors that ragdolls can have. I knew which one I wanted, I loved it. And she had 2 little boy cats in that color way, but they were just very new kittens. And the complication here was that I already had a vacation planned. This was happening in like September. when we started talking about it, and I had vacation planned for over New Year's for a week in Egypt. So I knew that whatever cat I would get in a few months would have to stay home for a week without me. And I, of course, knew that I would get like a cat sitter, you know, taking care of them. But it's still like you are bonding with the cat, it's still very new, and you leave them. So I didn't want like a tiny kitten, because when we were speaking, it would work out that I would get it like in the beginning of December. So it would be with me for a month before I would leave it. And I was like, that is not a good idea. Like, it's too young for that. Even though it's old enough to leave mother, you know, you do not want to leave tiny kitten like that alone. So I was like, oh, should I wait or something? And then she said she had this girl cat. She does not have the usual colorway. She is a tortoise cat, which means that she can have pretty much any markings, any colors. It's like not determined yet, because ragdolls actually change colors in the first like 2 years of their lives until they get to their final form. So she was like, well, she is now, I think, 3 months old. So I have her still here because nobody bought her yet from me. And she is not sterilized because I thought she would be for a breeder because of this colorway that she is. But if you want her and you want her only for a pet, I can have her sterilized at the vet and then sell her to you after she is all like healthy after that, you know, after she heals. So we agreed on that, and that meant that I got her at the end of October. So it was a 4-month-old kitten, basically, and I was with her for like a little bit over 2 months before I went for that vacation. And I did get a sitter who would come to my house every day for like, I think, hour and a half or something like that. And she would take care of her, feed her, give her fresh water, take care of the toilet, and then play with her and pet her. And then they would always send me a lot of pictures and like a little summary of what they were doing and how the cat was behaving, so that I could be really like okay with leaving her. So that was good. But yeah, that's how I ended up with Elvira, my ragdoll. She is now 5 years old, 6 years old. This was 2019. So that was another thing, because I got the cat, I went on vacation, and then COVID happened, and then I was stuck at home, and I had a cat with me, which actually worked out perfectly, so that was great. And also I made the vacation before everything closed in the world, so that was also really good. Like, I was very lucky with that. But yeah, so she is born May, I think, in 2019. So she will be 7 years old this year. So she is now 6. Okay. So yeah, that is how I ended up with Elvira. And it was so strange because in the beginning when I got her, like I said, I always wanted a cat. And I got her and she was, you know, a little offstandish. And I had the feelings of like, I will take care of her because she is dependent on me, and I will, you know, give her food and water and pet her and all of that. But I don't feel like I necessarily like love her. That changed very fast. In the beginning, like the first, I think maybe like a week or two, I was like, yeah, so now I have this animal here and I will take care of it because I am a responsible adult. But like, I don't know if I like her that much. And now I would die for her. Like, that changed a lot. But it was like, I was having these feelings and I was like, is this normal? Is this like how it's supposed to be? But obviously you're not gonna like love the animal like first time you see it. Like, you know, you have to get to know them, right? It's the same with boyfriends. Anyways, So yeah, I had her. The lady actually did bring her to me, and it was like 6 in the morning when she brought her because she was going to Prague for work, so she had to make it to her work on time. So I got up very, very early. She brought her, and since it was an official breeder, she gave me like a whole starter pack thing with her favorite little foods and treats, and some toys were in there, and then of course all of her papers. Her original name from the breeder was Fantasy, and I did not like that name because I do like to shorten the names, and so I would call her Fanta. And I didn't think that that would be like the best, you know, so I came up with the name Elvira if you want. Elvira is actually from a children's movie, and there is like a lady, she's a ghost, I think, or she's a magical being, anyways. And she is called the beautiful Elvira. She is played by a very beautiful blonde actress, and she has like a very positive storyline in there. And I was thinking of different names for the cat. I wanted something that was like human, but not really like a classic name that you would meet people with that name. So I was thinking about this, and I came up with Elvira, and I was like, yeah, the beautiful Elvira. She is blonde, you know, the ragdoll is white, so that would work out perfectly. She is very, very sweet. When I had her, it was just the two of us, she was so sweet, so cuddly. She was always like, you know, around me. When I would read, she would be on my lap. And then I met my boyfriend, we moved in together, and he had 2 cats. And ever since I did that, she's not happy with me. Like, she's okay, you know, she's fine now, but it is very obvious that she would like to be the only cat in the family, and she is not happy to have these other cats around here. She is not happy to have to, like, you know, share the love of her people. So she's not that cuddly anymore. She is a little lady. Oh, and I'm running out of battery. Of course I am. So give me a second. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, so Elvira, she is like the lady, the madam of the family. She is the kind of cat, even though she's a ragdoll, so she should be like way nicer. She's the kind of cat where she will come up to you and ask for pets, and then you can pet her, but as soon as she is done with you in a few minutes, she will just walk away. She will not be with you for longer periods of time. She is kind of like, her idea of love is being near you, not necessarily on you. So she does not really come on my lap anymore. It is very, very rare that she would do that. She doesn't sleep in the bed with us. She will sleep like near us on the bed. Like if it's just me sleeping in the morning and we are alone at home, she will sleep on the bed, just not like with me, you know, she's on the other side. So yeah, she's kind of like, everything has to be according to her and how she wants it, and that's it. She does not love the other cats that much. She is kind of like trying. She's not really socialized that much, even after years of living with other cats. She's still kind of, it feels like she doesn't know how to approach them. So she's kind of wary of them. So she will come up to another cat and start maybe like grooming them. And she does that for a few seconds and then she stops. And then you can see how she doesn't know how to act now. So she usually ends up like swatting at them with her paw and running away. She is horrible at that. Like, she doesn't know how to interact with other cats. She's fine with people, but she doesn't know how to interact with other cats. And she is actually mean to Mina, which I'm guessing because they are both girls. We have 2 girls and 2 boys. I guess that's kind of why that is happening. But yeah, they do not get along, and Mina is actually like kind of scared of her. Not like in everyday, you know, situations all the time, but like if Mina wants to come in the room and Elvira is lying close to the door, Mina will not come in because she knows that Elvira could just pounce on her, and Mina doesn't fight, so she just would rather go away and wait for her to change positions. So that's kind of unfortunate because it is very clear to me that Elvira would love to be the only cat, and she is not the only cat and she never will be. So that's just how it worked out. She will have to deal with it. It's like fine, it's not like anything dangerous for any of the other cats or stuff like that. Like it's fine. It's just you can see that she would be much happier if she wasn't one of 4 cats. So that's how I ended up with Elvira. And then I met Tom, and he at that point had 2 cats. He had Wolfie and Mina. So we will start with Wolfie because he is older. So my boyfriend, when he had his previous long relationship, they decided, or the girl kind of decided, to get a cat because she wanted a cat. He didn't want a cat. He was a dog person at that point, which is kind of funny because now he's definitely a cat person. Well, he's both. I'm also both, but I do not want a dog in my house. They make a mess, much worse than a cat does. Anyways, so the girlfriend decided to get a cat, and for some reason, because I did speak to her at one point, and we did talk about the cats and their names, and she explained this to me. So for some reason, she thought that the best way to convince her boyfriend to get a cat with her is to name the cat after him. I don't know why she thought that. Tom is not egoistic or narcissistic enough to that, like, you know, convince him if he didn't want the cat. So I don't know what was wrong with her, but she did think that. So the cat's name is Wolfie. And he was just from like a family who had cats that were running outside. They weren't sterilized, so they ended up with kittens, and they were kind of just giving them away to nice people. I'm hoping that they sterilized the cats afterwards. But Wolfie is just a regular, like, European short hair, you know, domestic cat. Nothing special. Although he is weird. He has like very weird coat, very thick. Not like other cats that I've known, and so maybe there's some mix in there, we don't know. Anyway, so they just found a listing somewhere online, they went to pick him up, and they named him Wolfie because my boyfriend's name, his surname is Wolf. So the cat is named Wolfie. It is also Tom's nickname from his friend, they call him Wolfie sometimes. So it's literally like they named him after the guy, which is so strange. I do not know why she thought that was a good idea. And every time I like tell this to anybody in real life, they're like, that's so weird. Why would you name your cat after yourself? It just reminds me of Gilmore Girls and Kirk having Kirk cat. Whatever. So they picked him up, they had this little kitten, and he was very, very energetic as when he was young. He was like crazy. So they decided after I think a month of having him to get another kitten because yeah, it was, you know, best if he had somebody to play with. So they got a second boy cat, and his name was Annie because her name was Anna. tell me what is wrong with this person. Like, why would you name that cat after yourself? Like, literally after yourself. So they had Wolfie and they had Annie. And in Czech, they were calling him Aník, kind of, you know, so that it sounded more like masculine. But yeah, so they had these two boys. They were best friends since the beginning. They were playing together, running around, being crazy. Everything was amazing. And then after a year of this, my boyfriend and his ex went to kind of like some shelters sometimes do this thing where they bring cats to a place where other things are happening so that they can be adopted. I don't know what you would call that. I know it has a name, but I don't know that. But yeah, so it's kind of like they bring them out. They are all in separate cages and people can go in the room, look around and pick a cat and take it home. So my boyfriend and his ex went to one of these things and they met Mina. Mina was not named Mina originally. She was, I don't remember, but she had a different name as well. And then they decided on Mina, which didn't really have any special reason. They just liked the name. She was roughly 1 year old. She was in the shelter. She was already sterilized and she was very friendly in the cage. She was like rubbing up against it so that people could put in their fingers and she would like rub on them. So they picked her. She is just a regular, you know, street mix cat. And they brought her home and she was terrified. So from what my boyfriend told me, she was like a first few months of living with them. She was living under their bed and she would only come out at night and, you know, eat and take like a toilet break and stuff like that. So they would know that she's okay, but she was terrified. She was hiding under there. Later she would come out, but if she saw that they were looking at her, she would run away. She would not let them touch her. It took a long time for her to get used to new humans, new like apartment, and the other cats, of course, as well. So it was like really tough for her, and we don't know like what happened to her in the 1 year of life that she had before he got her. So of course she could have had some bad experiences. We don't know anything. They found her on the street, they took her into the shelter, and then they adopted her. So yeah, that was really, really rough. And then actually my boyfriend broke up with that girl because they decided that they wanted to go to New Zealand, but then there were some complications. He didn't get a visa, she did. They started fighting, the relationship started to fall apart, and then they decided to break up. She would go to New Zealand and he would stay in Prague and he would keep the cats. So I honestly was so mad at him when I heard this the first time, because what do you mean you got 3 cats and then you decided to travel and like live somewhere else where you wouldn't take the cats with you? Like, what would happen to the cats? What do you mean you got cats and then decided you wanted adventure? Like, you are now responsible for these animals, like you have to keep them. I was so mad, but yeah, whatever. He said that he would give them to his brother, but his brother lives in a house and the cats that he has are outside cats. These were definitely an apartment cat, so that would not work well for them. Like, it would be really tough, but whatever. I am over it now. Anyways, so she left. He had these 3 cats, and then Annie, the middle one, got sick. Oh, the middle one was like a Russian blue, I think, something like that. And he got sick and he was actually dead within a week. He had FIP, I think is the name of it, the shortcut. I don't know. It was like one of the things that every cat is now being tested for, because if they have it in them, it can happen anytime and they will just die very quickly, and it's not like a good thing, obviously. So he died of that. The girl actually managed to come back to say goodbye to him before he died, so that was nice. And they actually had the vet to come to their place to put him to sleep, so that he was at home and he was, you know, at least surrounded with the people and the cats that he knew. So that worked out the best way it could have. He was very young when this happened, so that was like not something you expected. It was very tragic. My boyfriend is still like really sad about that cat. He now has him tattooed on him. Very sweet. See, now I'm crying, even though I didn't even know this cat. But I saw like little videos and photos of Wolfie and Annie being little boys and playing around, little kittens, you know, it was just so cute. So yeah, that was very sad. And then she left again, and he had now 2 cats. And after that he was alone for some time, and then we met. So when I met him, he already had only 2 cats for quite a long time. And he was living in a house with other people, and some of the people had dogs. There were 2 dogs in that house. Wolfie and Mina both don't like dogs. So they had their room where they had a cat door and the dogs could not go through it. So they had like a safe space for themselves, but their toilets were in the hallway. So they had to go out of the room, and also they wanted to explore the house, of course. So they did run into the dogs sometimes. It was not ideal for them. Mina was very stressed out about this, so that was like not great for her. So when we were dating for a little bit, we decided to move in together. And since I was living in a tiny apartment and he was living with other people, we decided to find an apartment together that we would both move into. So when this happened, he took his 2 cats, then we stopped at my apartment to take my cat, and then we brought them to the new apartment and we let them all go at once. It was very scary for me to see them getting to know each other, because like I said, Elvira is not socialized with other cats, so she was like, I was really scared for her. At first she was scared of them, and then she started to be the bully, so you know. Anyways, a little bit about those 2 cats from my boyfriend. So Wolfie is the oldest one. He is going to be 13 in like April. I don't know, this video might actually come after he is already 13 years old. So he is old and he is very fat. He is also sick. He has issues with his urinary tract. He gets like stones in his bladder, and then he has issues peeing, and you know, it's a problem. So he is now on special veterinary diet for that, so that it is taking care of that situation. But this diet is not for sterilized cats. Like, it's not diet actually, like, you know, low fat, low calorie, whatever. So he is fat and there's nothing we can do about it unless we feed him less. But I don't want to do that because, like, you know, he's not like obese, he's just like big. He now is like 8 kilos, I think. He's like big. So he is sick, but he doesn't really care right now. Like, everything is taken care of, so he doesn't have any issues. He does still tend to pee outside of the toilet, like on the little mat that we have in front of it. We don't know why, because he used to do that when he was in pain. He would tell us that way that he is in pain, but he's not anymore. We had him tested. He is now fine. but he still does it from time to time. Like, it's not consistent, so I'm not worried that he is in pain again. It's just like, why do you do that? I guess he got used to it when he was in pain, and now, you know. Which that was actually interesting when the vet told us why he does that. Because we were like, why does he pee outside the toilet? Like, it's not like, you know, it doesn't make sense to us. Why is he doing that? It doesn't help him in any way. And the vet was like, well, because he's a cat and he doesn't understand the reason for the pain. He doesn't understand that he is sick and that's what's causing it. So he associates the pain with going to the toilet. So he doesn't want to go there because he knows that it will hurt when he is in there. But he's also very well trained and he knows that he shouldn't go anywhere in the apartment other than the toilet. So he still tries to go to the toilet, but then he has the block of there is where it hurts. So then he goes just outside on the mat. And that's like his justification to doing that. So that was like, yeah, that makes sense, but also it's kind of crazy. But yeah, okay. He's a cat, he doesn't understand anything. So that was like a not fun thing that was happening like a couple times a day at one point, but now he, like, the condition is under control, he is better, he doesn't have any pain anymore, luckily. So, you know, now he's just doing it because he's a jackass. But about Wolfie, he is so sweet. He is the most phlegmatic cat we have. He does not care about anything. He's the one cat that when strangers come to our apartment, he will just stay where he is and let them pet him, and he doesn't give a crap, basically. He's just like, yeah, okay. At least somebody is petting me. He loves being pet on his stomach, so you can always find him like sprawled out, you know, showing you his stomach so that you can pet him. And he is just in love with Tom. Like Mina, she now got used to me as well. We've been together for 5 years, so, you know, I've known these cats for a little while now. But Wolfie, even after all this time, he likes me. Like, he will accept pets from me and everything like that. He will let me, like, take care of his claws, you know, wash him if it's necessary, all of that. But he loves Tom. Like, it is so obvious that I am the spare human here and Tom is the love of his life. So the sweetest thing he does is every night when we are falling asleep, he wants to sleep with us in the bed, but not just with us, he wants to sleep with Tom. So if Tom sleeps on his side and he has like the one hand, you know, out over the side of the bed a little bit, Wolfie will be the little spoon here. He will lie on his arm, cuddle right next to him and sleep like that. That is his favorite spot. He just loves Tom so much. He doesn't do that to me. Like, he does not do that. He did do it once when I was on that side and he got confused and he lied on me like that. And then he like looked at me and he was like, what the hell? You could see in his eyes, he was thinking, what the hell is this? This is not my person. And he walked away. So yeah, he will not do that with me. He will be like on my lap in like on a couch or something, but he loves Tom. Tom is his human. And it is so sweet. It is like, he's the one, the one cat that Tom is his favorite. Like, the other ones are all mine, basically. So yeah, he does not care. He is very lazy, very old, very fat by now. So, you know, you can, even like when we're playing with them with the little fishing rod thing with a bird on the end, or well, feathers, but the cat thing is a bird. He will lie down to play with it. Like, he will be lying and he will be just swatting at it with his paw, but he will not get up and like jump and run around. He does not do that. He is very, very lazy. He also likes to scream at us when he wants to jump up somewhere and it's high. And we know that he can jump up there, but he will sit under it and scream for us to like pick him up and put him there. Does not happen. We let him scream until he figures out that it will not happen and jumps there himself. And the other thing is he loves running water. He does not love cat fountains. That was not his favorite thing. But like cold water from the tap, he loves. But it has to be a tiny little stream so that it doesn't get on him. He doesn't like to get wet, but he likes to drink from the tap. So he will, a few times a day, jump into the bathtub, sit in front of the tap, and he will scream for us to go in there and turn it on for him. And then he drinks a little bit, and then he walks away, and then we get to turn it off again. It is like, I tried giving him like a water ball in there, does not work. He will drink from it, but he will also scream for you to put the water on for him. He is obsessed with like the fresh cold water. So when I'm giving them fresh water in their bowls, he will go with me from bowl to bowl to bowl so that he always has the freshest one. And then if I'm stupid enough to actually then put water into my glass, he will scream at me to give him that glass because that's now the freshest water and he wants it. He is obsessed with water, cold water, fresh water. That's what he loves. And also the sweetest thing that he does that I love with him so much is that we have these little tiny plush mice. They are for kittens, you know, they are supposed to be for kittens. We have a few of them around the apartment. And sometimes when he's in the mood, he will like swat it around a few times on the ground. Then he will take it in his mouth like he caught it. And then he will scream across the whole apartment. You can hear him. And he will bring it to you as his little trophy. He will bring it, he will put it at your feet, he will sit down, and he will wait for you to praise him. How great he is, you know, how good he did that he caught the mouse, that he brought you dinner. You know, he is such a hero. You have to do that. You have to like pet him and say that he is amazing. He is a hunter, you know, he is so good. And then he's proud of himself and he walks away. That is the sweetest thing because he's like at 8 kilos. He's huge. He is so much bigger than this tiny little plush mouse. And yet he is so proud of himself every time he catches it. And since Tom is his favorite human, he does sometimes do it like during the night and he brings it to the bed to his slippers. So he has his little slippers and then 2 or 3 mice will be there in the morning because Wolfie caught them and brought them. So sweet. I love him so much. Then we have Mina. Mina, now that we've been living alone, just us and the cats and no other people or dogs, she chilled out so much. She is now so much calmer. She is still a little like hysterical whenever something out of the ordinary is happening. So like if I dare to take down a cat carrier because maybe some of the other cat needs to go to a vet, she will like run off because that is strange, you know, something is happening. Or if I wanted to wash her little booty because she had an accident, since I did something different, you know, I like prepared stuff in the bathroom and then let it open and then went for her, she will know that something is happening and she will run away. She's like a little ninja when that happens. Like otherwise, she is very like kind of small and like I call her the bulldozer. She is very like, I don't know, compact. Her body, like the way she's built, she is very compact cat. But she, when she walks, she makes such thumping noise. She is so heavy. She's not like actually like heavy, you know, like she's not fat, but she is heavy. I don't know how else to explain it. So she like, you know, makes noise when she runs or walks. And she is Oh, I think that's the neighbors. Okay. I was like, oh, is my boyfriend already home? No. So she is always like very aware of something different happening, and she will run and hide. Like, she trusts us to a point. So now she is also going to be 13 years old this year, but at the end of the year. She's like half a year younger than Wolfie is. Roughly, because of course she is from the shelter, so we don't know. But this is like what they assessed when they got her. So she's also an old lady, but she is the kind of like village cat, you know, the one that runs around and like goes through winters and everything like that outside. So she is indestructible. Out of all of our cats, she is the one who is never sick, never throws up, never has like runny poop or anything like that. She can eat anything, she can do anything. She is never at the vet. She did need to have her teeth taken out, some of them. But other than that, she is the healthiest and like the most stable as health goes from all of our other cats. Like, she is just a rock, basically. So yeah, she did chill out a lot since now she has like a stable home with no new people showing up and everything like that. So now, after a few years that I've known her, she developed some rituals for herself. She doesn't like to sleep with us, not even like in the room necessarily. Sometimes she sleeps here on the chair, but sometimes she sleeps in the kitchen. Like, she doesn't want to be around us at all in the night. I think that's kind of a safety thing for her, you know, so that she knows that she's alone in the room and she can just, you know, be in a coma. But before we go to sleep, she will every night run to the bed and wait for me to sit down, and then she will start like rubbing on me, wanting to be pet. And she now, after years of living with her, she now shows me her belly, which she never used to do. She was so like cautious of that. And now for the last like year, she's been doing that. She comes and like rubs on me and then lies on her side and just show me her belly, and I can actually pet her on that belly, which is amazing. It's like such rewarding feeling when she does that, because I know that she really trusts me. It's the sweetest thing. So she does that before we go to sleep, and then she walks away and she's just like done. She said goodnight to us basically. And then in the morning she waits for the alarms to go off or for us to start like moving a lot, and then immediately she runs to the bed to say good morning to us. Like, she is that kind of cat. Like, she's so happy that we survived another night, you know. And so yeah, she will again run to us and let us pet her. Not let us, make us pet her, because she will not let you not do that. She loves to be pet. She will walk around and scream for somebody to pet her many times a day. She doesn't really love to be held. She will let me like hold her, and when she is up, she will like, you know, rub on your chin or something, and she will let you pet her, and she loves to be like squeezed. But when you are going to pick her up, she kind of tries to run away. But then when she's with you, she is happy, but she does not kind of trust, you know, the grab from the above. So she's a little strange like that. But yeah, we did develop like a lot closer relationship over the years that I've known her. When I first met Tom, he was saying that she does not let him like brush her. She doesn't really need it that often, but you know, she doesn't let him do her claws. She would not let him wash her, and she doesn't like treats at all. She just eats like her dry stuff or the little meat packets, but she does not like treats. So since then, I've been able to groom her a lot of times with the brush, I've been able to cut her nails. I've been able to wash her when it was necessary. She was not happy with it, but like she lets me do it. And we found treats that she likes. So we solved all of that. It was literally, I guess, just like the way he was approaching it and the way I'm approaching it. She trusts me and she lets me do it. Now, just last week, I think he was able to brush her as well. She let him do that, which that was a huge victory for him, because like he's had her for the past 11 years, 12 almost, and yet she did not trust him to do that. So she does that now. She also just a few days ago slept on me, like on my lap, which also doesn't happen. So she's just like being more and more calm. She is okay now, and I love to see that. I love that she is more and more confident in like this environment with us, and she knows that she can trust us, so that she is more like open and just, it's so sweet. So yeah, she is the constant, like she wants to be pet all the time. She wants food all the time. She is very much like always up for food, and now also for treats. The thing is, I was trying to give her like the really good treats, like freeze-dried meat that is like 100% meat, and she would not eat that. But then we got like a free gift with some purchase. We got the like really cheap grocery store treats that are like horrible, you know, ingredients, and she loves those. So now if they get treats, which they don't get them very often, they get them if we're like doing something to them. You know, like if they need a shower, after that they will all get treats. If they need to be brushed, they get all treats, you know, stuff like that. Like when it's something special, or if they go to the vet, obviously they get treats. So they don't get them very often, but she does get these ones, and the other ones all get the freeze meat, and they love that because like it's 100% meat. Of course they will love it. Not her. No, she is the village cat that she is, and she does not need anything fancy apparently. She also, even in her age, loves to play with the fishing rod, so she will run around, and it does sound horrible when she runs around. It is so loud, but for such a small creature, you know. And also, she is the one from our cats who does not like to be like high up. Everybody else wants to be like on top of wardrobes, bookshelves, you know, stuff like that. She does not. She is a ground cat for sure. The highest she is like comfortable being is on the bed or the couch. So we're like not that high. She also doesn't jump really. She doesn't like jumping. Even when she goes like on the bed or here on the chair, she will like put her front paws up, and then she will like pull herself up rather than jumping, which is very weird. She is not a good cat in that, but you know, whatever. She makes it work. And even if I were to put her somewhere up high, she does not like it. She does not want to be there. It's not that she doesn't jump up there, it's that she doesn't want to be there. So that's like, you know, her specific thing that nobody else does. She also, when we were dating in the beginning, she by accident ran out of the house that my boyfriend was living in. Like the roommates were probably going out for a smoke to the garden, and she went out with them and then didn't get back in. So we thought she was lost. And it must have happened like during the evening or night. So in the morning, I was sleeping over at his place, and in the morning we woke up and she was nowhere, and we were so scared. He was looking through the garden and the little shed and the garage and everything so many times. He moved all of the wood that they had for like the wood stove thing. he moved it so many times because she could be hiding somewhere in between or something. He called for her so many times. We were like panicking because like she's so scared of like strangers. She is panicking, she is hysterical. So if she actually ran out of the garden somewhere, she would be lost. Like she would not survive that. We would not get her back. So we were like really scared. I was already like starting to print out, you know, posters to put out. And that afternoon, before I could even go back to his place, he called me and he was like, guess who I found? And I was like, I'm hoping Mina. And he was like, yes. So the garage that was on that property, it was like accessible from the garden, but not from the outside. It would be locked there. But it was accessible from the garden, no problem. And somehow she ended up in the like ceiling beams that were over there. It was like, you know, like a surfboard and stuff like that was on it. There were some beams across the room and she was on there. How she got there, nobody knows, but because she doesn't jump, like I said. But he was looking for her again and again and again. He was running around, he was calling her name and like, you know, shaking treats, even though at that point we didn't know which treats she wanted. And when he found her, he was in the garage, he was looking around through all of the stuff, the mess that was there. And then he just by accident looked up and he saw her little eyes on top of that beam. And as soon as they made eye contact, she was like, meow. You know, like now she made a noise. But ever since then, she wasn't so scared going outside because I guess spending the night there, she got used to it. But yeah, she doesn't like strangers. If anybody comes to visit us, she is under the bed the whole time. She will not come and greet anyone, anything like that. No. She does not like that. She is not very trusting, if that's like the best way I can describe her. So yeah, we had 3 cats at this point living together. They were getting used to each other, you know, it was all nice. And after I think like 2 years of that, we went to it was like a cat show thing, and once again there was a room for shelter cats to be adopted. So they had like a special room where the cats from the shelters were, and then there was a big hall full of different breeders and, you know, they're like prized cats. So we went just to take a look. Obviously, you know, we didn't need another cat. We already had 3, that's a lot. We went to take a look at all of these cats at the show. You know, I don't like cat shows or dog shows. I don't think for most of the animals it is a lot of fun to be like paraded around in front of hundreds of people and other animals. But, you know, whatever, people can do what they want. We were there mostly for the shelter cats. So we took a look and most of them were kind of scared as well, you know, hiding in like corners of the cages and everything. It did not feel good to be like taking part of that. So we didn't pick anyone and we were just walking around the main hall looking at all of the like, you know, actual breeds. And we came across this one station with 2 different cages. In one of them there were, I think, 3 cats all huddled together in one cat bed and sleeping, and in the other one there was a different colored cat of the same species, breed, whatever, and he was up and he was walking around the side of the cage. He was again rubbing up against anybody who would put their fingers in there. He was very, very friendly. And all around all of these cages were papers saying that the breeder, the owner of these cats, wants to give them away because she is ending her like breeding operation, and she is looking for good people to give these cats to. And we really fell in love with that. He was kind of bluish color, you know, gray blue. We fell in love with him. He was so friendly, he was so nice. So I called her right then and there in the hall, and because there was like a phone number. So we were waiting around for a little bit. We asked the people around with the other animals, and they were like, we didn't see anybody around this cage, but maybe she's like walking around the hall, you know, like we aren't like watching this space. So I called her and she was like, yeah, I'm not there. So it turned out that she is in a medical field. I don't know what she does exactly, but she had a shift and she really needed to show these cats off this way so that people would want them. So she decided to bring them in the morning, give them all like food and water, and leave them there with those papers saying that they are up for adoption, and then she would come back later in the day and pick them up, which wasn't very smart from her because they actually spilled the water in one of the cages, so they didn't have anything to drink. So after I talked to her about everything that I wanted to talk to her about, we went back and we talked to the people sitting right next to them to say like, hey, could you keep an eye on them, like give them water, food if they need it, you know, because the owner isn't actually here right now. And they were like, yeah, of course, we will take care of these cats. I don't know why she didn't tell us when she left. I'm not saying like she is a bad owner or anything. It was, I guess, a stressful situation for her, but she did not make the best choices in this. So when I talked to her, she explained that she had like a breeding situation for this cat breed, the Aussie cat. And she has still a few of the like adult ones that she has for cat shows and stuff like that, or for the breeding. But she had this with her husband. She divorced that husband. She now has a new man, and this man doesn't like cats and doesn't want them to be running around their house. So the situation now is that the cats have their own room. They are all in there. They have everything they need in there, you know, beds, toilets, food, water. And when she is not at work, she will go in there, pet them, take care of them. But they are closed off in there from the family. The problem is, Aussie cats, as a breed, are super like hung up on their people. They love their people. They want to be with them all the time. And they are very curious. So being closed off and hearing like the life behind that door and not being able to be part of it must have been horrible for these cats. Some cats might not be that bad with that, but this specific breed, it was not good for. And she realized that, and she was like, yeah, so I don't want my cats to be unhappy. It's been like this for a few months. I see that their demeanor has changed because they are not happy cats right now, even though they have like technically everything they need. I do not want to continue with this, so I decided to give them up, to give them to good people. They are very expensive cats. They are like prize-winning cats, but I do not want to sell them. I want to just find good people and give them away so that they find a new home where they can be happy. Which was very, very good that she did that, because I think that kind of saved all of the cats. And it must have been so hard for her because she loved those cats. It was her man who didn't want them around. So, like, that must have been such a hard decision. But I'm glad she did that, because we talked to her and she said that the blue one, the friendly one, was actually already reserved. But the other three, the brown ones in the other cage, are still up for grabs. So I told them about our cats, their ages, their genders. And she said that the Caesar would be the best. So we were like, okay, well, we can't really tell them apart because there were like 3 brown cats all in one, big bowl. So she was like, yeah, okay, let's actually, because I'm not there, so I can't show you, we can't actually talk in person, but let's make a date and you can come to my house and I will show you the cat, you can meet with him and we can see if it's a good fit. So we did that, we met her, we met the cats, and we agreed that yes, Caesar would be coming home with us, so we put him in a carrier and brought him home. Now this was very risky because we already had 3 very much adult cats and we were not sure like how he would fit in. But luckily he fit in very well. So that is now Dino, our Aussie cat, 7-year-old at this point. He is going to be 8 this year. So he's 2 years or a year older than Elvira. I don't know, I don't remember. Anyways, so he has all of his papers, he is an official breed. We even got from her like one of his prizes, his little like trophies from one of the cat shows that he won, because he is a perfect specimen of that breed. He is amazing. And she even said like, yeah, you can bring him to cat shows, like I can take care of the like technical stuff that you don't know about and you can just bring him. And I was like, yeah, but he doesn't like it. He is not a social cat like with people, so he would not like being at a show. I don't know why she was bringing him to shows. Like I said, I don't like shows, so my original like thoughts are already, I would not do that to a cat, and seeing him and knowing him now, he must have not liked it anyways. So we brought him home, we got him acquainted with the other cats, and then he spent a few weeks under the bed. He was not happy, he didn't know us, he didn't trust us. He was at this point, I think, 5 years old when we got him. So he was very much like used to his own people and other cats and not this. So he was under the bed for a long time. I was really unhappy because I was like, I just want to love you and take care of you and you do not let me do that. But we gave him his time, and slowly but surely he started coming out during the day when we were around. He started letting us see him. Then he started letting us touch him, and I still remember the first time that I gave him a forehead kiss, like on his little head. I kissed him just a really like fast peck because he was very like careful around us still at this point. But I just couldn't help myself, so I gave him a little kiss. And the look in his eyes was like, what the hell are you doing? He was petrified, like what just happened? But you know, we got through it, and I did it a few more times, and now he demands it. He loves being kissed on his forehead, he loves being pet, he just is like the sweetest cat right now. So that was so funny. I still remember that, and he was like, what the I almost swear, what the hell? He was just like, what is happening? So yeah, I don't know like what he was used to from his previous owner, because he was quite old when we got him. He was like full grown adult. We did notice that he must have been used to, from like before he was in that one room, he must have been used to like being in the kitchen when something was being prepared, and he must have been used to getting human food, because he is very much wanting all of that we are eating, and he's not getting it because we don't do that. But he is like, this is what I'm used to, this is what I want. No. But yeah, so we don't know, you know, exactly everything. Like we was, oh my god, we were in contact with the owner few months after like we got him, so that she could make sure that he is happy. I was giving her like updates on the getting to know each other, you know, on him getting to know us, sending her pictures and videos, all of that, so that she could know that he is fine. which I appreciated, that she actually like really cared about the cats and their well-being. So I didn't like want to grill her about like how he was growing up and stuff like that. So I don't know much, but from what we see from his behavior, there are some things that we do not do with our cats, and he was obviously used to them. But yeah, after the initial few months, I actually made like a series on my Czech channel about him getting used to us and the other cats. It was like a whole thing. It took weeks, so I was giving updates and showing stuff and things like that to maybe kind of show like my approach and what worked, because other people might need it. It actually ended up working out great, because he is now part of the family. Every other cat like respects him basically. And he loves us, you know. He might love me more, just because he loves to be on the lap of somebody. And Tom, when he's at home, usually either he's like cooking or doing something around the house, or he is sitting at his computer playing video games, and he can't have a cat on his lap doing that. It's not like the way he's sitting, it would not work. So I think he loves me more, but because I give him the opportunity to be on my lap all the time, like for hours. So being on the lap, like I said, Elvira used to be on my lap all the time. Now she doesn't really do it anymore. Wolfie will sometimes do that, but usually when we're on the couch and when it's both of us and Tom doesn't want him on his lap because maybe he's eating like some snacks, he will be on my lap, but not very happy about it. And when he does that, he actually wants to be like on your chest and wants to have like his claws dug into your neck. Very fun for everybody. Mina loves to be on your lap, but she is not, she probably has like ADHD. She does not stay in one spot for a very long time. So she comes on your lap, she wants to be pet, you pet her, she like walks around a little bit, she maybe lies down for a little bit, but then she runs away. And in a few minutes she's back and she wants to do all of that again. But Dino is on my lap for hours, like in a row. He will come on my lap as soon as I sit down. He will lie down, he makes himself comfortable, and he falls asleep, like completely falls asleep. He even has dreams, he like kicks me and, you know, like he's running after something. And then like I change positions, and other cats might leave when you do that, but he does not. I will change, like I have my legs straight, I will maybe like pull one up, you know, cross them, something, and he will just wait for me to do that. And as soon as I'm done moving, he just finds his new position, lies down and sleeps again. He will not leave. I actually have to like physically move him from my lap if I want to get up. And even then, if I am just like getting up to maybe get like water, go to the bathroom and come back here to read, he will wait here. And as soon as I'm situated again and I have the blanket on my lap, he will go again on my lap and fall asleep again. He will not leave me. He's just like relentless when it comes to this, and I love him for that, because that is one thing I wanted in a cat and I do not really have it with anybody else. So I'm very happy he is that way. But yeah, it is a little much sometimes, because it can be like a really long time. And like even if I do move him off and want to sit in a way where he couldn't be on my lap, he will not leave. He will look at me and he will want me to change my position so that he can be on me again. So it can be a little annoying sometimes, but I don't want to complain because that's what I wanted, right? Oh my god, I've been speaking so long, I'm losing my voice now. Is that any better? Yes, okay. So when he got used to all of us, he started being the like carer of the cat family, he will groom everybody. He tries it with Elvira, she doesn't really let him. Wolfie sometimes lets him, but not for very long. Mina loves it. They are like inseparable, those two. They love each other. They actually sleep next to each other sometimes, which is the sweetest thing. That's what I kind of wanted, for all the cats to be like one big bundle. No. Wolfie is an individual, Elvira is definitely an individual, and then these two are kind of friendly. So he takes care of Mina and everybody else. He loves to wash us, to lick us, either hands or, well, anything that he can get his tongue on. So if he's lying like next to me, he will like wash my leg or something. He loves to give like kisses, so he will wash your chin or your nose. I do not let him wash my lips. He will wash my boyfriend's head. He tries to do that with me, but since I have long hair, he always ends up being like and I have to help him. Sorry, that was graphic. But yeah, he does that. And he will not learn. Like, he will do that from time to time and always end up the same way and always be like, what the hell? But with him, he has like 3mm, hair, so that's perfect for Dino. So he likes to wash his head. He just grooms everybody around him. And also, he is our like toilet police. So some of the cats, like that one over there, some of the cats will go to the toilet and will not cover it with the litter. They will just leave it there. And if it's the like solid kind, it will smell up the whole apartment very, very fast. Like, I don't know, I know what they're eating, so I don't know why they smell so bad, but they all smell so bad. So he actually goes after other cats to the toilet only to like cover things up. It's just like the sweetest thing. He is just, he's taking care of everything. Like, he has it under control. He's so sweet. His other thing is that he doesn't meow. Elvira meows, Mina meows, Wolfie kind of meows. Dino screams. He does not meow. He makes a very specific noise. It's kind of like nyah, but not like meow. It's very different. I've never heard a cat make that noise. It's his normal like meow. It just doesn't sound like a meow. And he does that usually to my boyfriend. He doesn't really scream that much to me, but he does that to my boyfriend, like when we come home, if we are late from work or something, if we like went somewhere as well and didn't come like in the usual time, he will scream at both of us, because how dare we be long away, even though it's like an extra like 2 hours, it's not like they're not hungry, it's not like anything horrific, but he's not used to that. That's out of the usual and he does not like it. So he will scream at us. But then if he's like on my lap and my boyfriend comes to tell me something, gives me a little kiss, wants to touch him, he will scream at him. Like, how dare he disturb us? What is he doing? And then if he wants something from us, like food, he will scream. And Elvira loves her carrier. He also loves his carrier. I don't know what is wrong with these cats. They don't love to go to the vet or anything else, but they love when we put the carrier down to be in it. So we actually have one of the cat carriers on top of the wardrobe open. And Elvira, since she is such an individual cat, she doesn't like the other ones. She loves from time to time to ask us to put her up there. And she is in that carrier, she sleeps in there for like an hour or two, and then she asks us to take her down. He wants to do that too, but the last time he did it, he was there for 12 hours. I could not get him down. Because he can jump down, so I wasn't worried when I went to bed that he would be stuck there, because he did jump down a few times before that, so like I knew he's fine with it. Elvira isn't. Elvira doesn't like to jump from that high, so she actually asks us to bend down in front of the thing, and then she jumps on our back and then down. But he jumps down from the height, no problem. He's also like a very agile, active cat from all of them. He's the most like active one. So he didn't have a problem jumping down. So I went to bed, and in the morning, after like 8 hours of sleep, after he's already been there 4 hours in the afternoon, he was still up there. So then when I got up and I realized he was still up there, I actually had to take everything down from the wardrobe, then take the carrier down and like get him out of it. And then he was like running to the toilet, to the food, to the water. You know, he was making his laps over and over and over again, because obviously he was there for a really long time. So since that happened, I do not let him, I don't put him up there, because he just doesn't know like when to stop, when to ask to be taken down to the ground. He does not know his limits. So I do not put him up there anymore, and he still wants to be up there. So when he sees me putting Elvira up there, he will scream at me, because like, what? It's like he wants to do that too. So he can be very vocal, but not too often. Like Wolfie and Mina both yell at us way more, and even Elvira meows at us, usually because she wants food. And sometimes we have to take her to her food bowl and show her she has food, because she does not realize she has food. She's not very smart, but she is beautiful and she knows it. That's the one thing about Elvira. She knows she is so cute, and she knows which like positions she's the cutest in. So when you are mad at her, she will walk in front of you. She will fall to her side, move to her back so that she shows you her stomach, and then she looks at you. And you cannot be mad at her anymore. And she knows it. She knows that works. That's just like, she's so smart with that. But other than that, she's the stupidest cat. She really is just not, she's not smart, and she's not a very good cat. Like, she's not agile, she doesn't jump well, she doesn't balance well. I don't know what's wrong with her. But she's cute, she's beautiful, so that works, I guess. So yeah, is there anything else I wanted to mention about Dino and his personality? He is crazy. He does get zoomies after he goes to the toilet. The only cat from our little family that does that. And he runs around. Like, our apartment is it's kind of a square, but then there is no door between this room and the next one. So he kind of can run around, but then he has to turn around and run back. And he will pick up speed. Like, he also does kind of like parkour. He like runs, and then he will jump up and like launch himself off of the side of the room, of the wall. He's crazy. Like, he can be crazy, but then he will sleep on me for 4 hours straight and not move, and not want to move even when I want to move. So he's not the youngest anymore. I said like he's 7, he will be 8 this year. So he's not the youngest anymore, but he still can run around and be totally crazy. And also when we have the fishing rod, he is the one that like jumps crazy high to get it. He always catches it, he's so fast. So that is Dino. His name, like I said, he used to be called Caesar from the owner previously. We didn't like the name Caesar, and we were like, can we change it? Like, he's kind of older, he might not be good, at changing his name. He might not get used to it. He did get used to it very fast. I guess he also didn't like to be called Caesar. But his name is Dino. My boyfriend picked it because we were watching MasterChef and the Gordon Ramsay version, and there was one contestant and his name was Dino, and he was calling himself Dino Ballerino. He was great. I think he won that season, actually. And we loved him. He was amazing. He was so fun to watch. So my boyfriend then decided to call him Dino, which some people, when they hear that name, they're like, dinosaur, you know, like whatever. No, it's after Dino Ballerino. You can look him up. I'm pretty sure that if you write that into Google, it will come up. So yeah, that's our cats. That's how we ended up with 4. Like I said, it was not our plan to get 4 cats. I was happy with my 1 cat, and my 1 cat was happy being the only cat. But then, you know, a guy with 2 more cats, and then we got a 4th one. Now, my biggest fear is that something will happen, like, you know, the things that happen in Ukraine, that it will move here, or some like emergency thing will happen, and I cannot imagine being like ran out of this home with 4 cats. Like, I cannot imagine how that would work if we had to be in some kind of shelter temporarily or something like that. Like, how in an emergency situation I would be able to get all of them into their carriers, and then for both of us to carry like cat each, you know, in one hand, and like then to take care of them in a strange place. Like, that is my biggest fear, is that we would have to leave home in an emergency situation, because in the beginning with the Ukraine stuff, they were saying that like nuclear bomb could be an option, and if that happened, we would have to run into a shelter and maybe stay there for a few days. And my first thoughts were not about like, oh my god, we might die. No, my first thoughts were, oh my god, how am I going to take care of my cats if we have to move? How are they going to survive? They cannot stay in their carriers for a few days. I would have to take them out to at least go to the toilet, you know. Like, how would we carry them? It would have to be both of us ready to be here, because I could not carry 4 of them, you know. Like, all of that is my, like, the biggest fear I have is like, what will happen if something like that ever happens. I'm hoping not, obviously, but it could. There is like a big threat still, and or like in case of like a fire in the building, like how would I evacuate the cats, you know, things like that scare me so much. We do have plans for future cats, but we do not want more than 4 cats. So if or when some of them will be gone, we do want to get a Maine Coon cat, I think is the name in English. They are amazing. I want an orange boy because they are huge, and I want an orange cat so badly, but like I said, we do not want more than 4 cats. So I would like to get a Maine Coon. That will obviously have to be from a breeder, but after that, when more of them are gone eventually, I would love to get some more shelter cats, because I think it is so important to take cats from shelters, not just from breeders who, you know, just generate more and more cats into the world, even though there are not enough people to take care of them. So yeah, that is kind of the plan, but obviously I do not want my cats to be gone, so I'm hoping it will take at least another like 10 years until that actually has to happen. Also, I had a conversation with a friend pretty recently about like me being old and how I don't think I will have a cat at that point. And she was like, no, you have to have a cat. Like, I can't imagine you without a cat. And I was like, yeah, but when I'm like getting to that age and it would be to the point where I would take like a new cat to my house, I wouldn't want to then leave the cat behind when I die. So I will at certain age have to start being really like careful about that, because I don't know what my situation will be. I know that I will not have children, so it's not like my children will take care of my animals. I don't know if my nieces and a nephew will be in that situation with me when they would want to do that, or if my sister will be okay when I'm not, you know, stuff like that. I just would hate the idea of me dying and my cat being left without her owner. Now, this is not counting with my boyfriend still being with me and still being alive, of course. This is just because, like, it's more likely that I will live longer than him because he's a guy and he's older than me already. So, you know, I'm not saying that we will not be together or that, you know, he has to die before me. But in this scenario, I am thinking about most likely things, and it is most likely that he will already be gone and I would be alone, and it would be up to me to take care of that cat. And if I die and I'm the only one, what will happen to that cat? I would not like it if my cat ended up in a shelter, because nobody from my family would be able to take care of them or want them, and they would just be uprooted in the middle of their life or something. Anyways, my other battery is now dying, so this is going to be it for me. There is so much more that I could tell you about my life with my cats, but that would probably have to be another video. This is already so long. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I will answer there, or I will make another video if there's enough to talk about. And yeah, let me know if you have any pets. How did you get them? You know, what's the story? And that's it. Have a great day. Bye.